Hey everybody, welcome back to another Krita tutorial. Today we're going to continue our series with the gimmick filter tool, and we're getting towards the end of these filters. So if you go to filter and then start gimmick tool, we're going to go over repair and sequences. So there's a lot going on here. We're going to go over just a couple for the repair and a couple for the sequences. So we're going to start with the anti-alias, which is going to basically help look at the help repair the pixelation in your image, most likely a photograph, and kind of smooth it out a little bit so it doesn't look as pixelated on the edges. So you can see here it looks very smooth here in the middle, kind of a little too much. So if I take that off by just clicking on the category name, you can see how it's not very pixelated. It's not like a super low res image, but it's, not the best either. When I turn anti-alias on, it's basically taking these edges here and really just smoothing them out, making them pop a little bit more, and it doesn't look too bad. It does look a little too outliney, like kind of cartoony. So we can always change the settings and smooth this, or lower the smooth rate, the edge exponent, and the lighten edges. So we're actually going to reduce this a lot. There we go. Okay, so it's just slightly there now, very subtle. You can see if I compare the two, originally it's barely there, and the anti-alias just kind of smooths that out and makes it more consistent. You can see in the letters too, it's making it pop a little bit more, because those are a little pixelated on the edges in the photograph. So it's just kind of making that pop a little bit more. All right, we're gonna go down to is that Ian or Lane's fast to noise. So this you can easily tell what it's just completely smoothing out all of that texture, that not quite pixelation, but that paper texture here. And it's really making this pop. I can't zoom out any more than this, unfortunately, but we can change the settings here. It basically uses the luma, the chroma, the gamma, and we can change the despeckle rate. You do see some pixelation still in here. There we go. So if you click and drag, you can see what it looks like originally. If you let go, you can see how that smooths it out a little bit better. This actually doesn't look too bad. This helps make this enamel pin pop a little bit more. Same with the text. It's kind of just getting rid of any grain or something that might make this look a little not the greatest. Because this is a product photo and this is so zoomed in, you're not going to see this anyway. But if you have an image that just came out a little more pixelated than you would have liked, whether it's an old photograph or something, or you're just trying to clean up something for a web preview, this is a good way to do it. All right, so we have upscale. So if you have an image that may not scale up too well on its own, if it's a lower res image, we can go ahead and upscale this and try and retain the information without having any real data loss. We can change the threshold here, which is basically going to say how much of this area it's going to affect. We have the exponent, which is going to help with how sharp or blurry this is going to be. There isn't too much going on here. We have a diffusion option. So this one does look like it has a little bit of a difference in the quality. So this retains the color. This one looks like it changes it a little bit. So we're going to increase the smoothness. Yeah. So you can see how it's looking more blurry and more blotchy here. It's trying to smooth it all out. We have edge. We're going to change that to 6. Wow, that's really large. Put that back down to 2. Do a linear sharpening or a bicubic. There isn't too much it's affecting for this particular image. That's fine. Every image is going to have its own unique things. It will or will not work. Then we have just scaling this up by 2. I'm not going to scale this up any larger than that. We have a color base. even though my image does have very few colors in it, it doesn't seem to affect it too much. So maybe this is going to be better for like literally 1 or 2 colors versus variations of gray and black and silver, which is fine. If you look on the edging here though, oops, you can see how this looks. If I put this back to RGB, it's ever so slightly changing the pixelation around here. And it's also making the pixelation pop a little bit more here if I go down to lab. It's very subtle. I'm not actually sure if you can even see it, but it is there. And that's really all there is to the repair. It's just a lot of basically fixing up your images very subtly, nothing too crazy, nothing like some of the filters we've had. I think it was like colors, I can change it from black and white to color or vice versa or whatever it was. These are just to help you fine tune an image that needs a little bit of oomph, I guess. You know, I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. It's really all it is. And these are going to be best used, like I said, for images that you just need to maybe improve upon for web sharing, like your website or something. Like, oh, this JPEG's lower, I don't have the original right now, but I want to kind of spruce this up to make it a little nicer to look at online. That would be something you would use this for. Or photographs that just did not come out the resolution you expected. Okay, so after repair we have sequences, and this is like an animation sequence. So these take a while to process. I'm just gonna hit close. I did try one of them and it's exporting it out as layers, which is fine. So I can export it out as each layer as like an image and then animate it. So it's animating like in a spin. So if I go through each layer here, you can see it spinning in 3D space, which is pretty cool. Or actually close that. All right, I'm opening this back up. And go back to the filters. So we can see it basically how this is going to be animated, and that's just pretty neat. So we have options like it shows the start on the left and the end on the right. So if I want to change how this cube is going to look, kind of a little much, but that's okay. So you have the starting parameters and the ending parameters. I can go from a large cube to a small one and it'll basically animate that. I can tell Krita where to save that file. I can put it out as frames, which is the layers here, or I can do it as a file. So there's just a couple different options here, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm not going to go and preview everything because, like I said, it actually took a while to process and I'd be sitting here for quite some time waiting for just 2. But there's just some neat little sequences that you can do to add some flair to your whatever it is. It's just pretty neat to see some different options that you can do with an image. I personally don't have a use case for this in my brain. You could do like an animation sequence of like from non-blurry to blurry, I guess, for this particular one. I'm sorry, it's the glow. It's a soft glow, not a blur. My bad. This one would be pretty cool to try. This Rodilius, it's got like some crazy sparkling going on, but I don't have like a idea for like a use case for them other than to have fun and see what you can do with it. And that's pretty much it for today's video for repair and sequences. Nothing like super crazy, just very simple overall things that you can do to tweak photographs or low-res JPEGs of your work to kind of spruce them up a bit, and then some really interesting animated sequences. Alright, and that's it. If you have any questions about these, let me know in the comments below. I will do my best to answer them. If you want me to go over something specific that I haven't gone over yet, I can do that. Just let me know as well. And make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next gimmick filter series. We're going to be going over silhouettes, which is really interesting, and stereoscopic 3D. And depending on that, and then yeah, after that, we're just going to take a look at the last 2 categories, which look to be a little more chaotic in terms of this is testing. So they may not all work and they may work. We'll see. Alright, thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.